BRobb, J. King, and Sam Packard present Steel Bottle, Boston Celtics Steel Bottle. Oh yeah! Steel Bottle, Boston Celtics Steel Bottle. And a 19. Jalen Brown, D. White, Crazy Joe. Steel Bottle. With Tatum coming back. Steel Bottle. Steel bottle. Oh yeah! Come on, Mom. 48. Don't I want some weed. Don't get the next generation.
Let's go,
Your family.
Celtics. Let's go, baby. Let's go.
Family.
Celtics, let's go.
Let's go, baby! Welcome back to Stale Potable, the best Boston Celtics podcast here on Al Gore's Internet. I am Sam Jam Packard, professional sports fan, joined by two of the best beat reporters covering the Boston Celtics from MassLive.com, Brian BRobb, and from The Athletic, Jay King. Ladies and gentlemen, together we are Still Potable, a Monday through Friday Boston Celtics podcast. We got 2 free episodes a week, but we're also here for you on Patreon. So if you want podcasts about your Boston Celtics every single day, go to patreon.com/stillpotable. Today is one of the free episodes. That means we are brought to you by CLNS, and we're on the CLNS network. We're also brought to you by Prize Picks. Use promo code CLNS to $50 after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, run your game. Today, we're going to be doing a little bit of a mailbag.
I got a question first.
Yeah, buddy.
Is it cold in your place?
Oh, here's the issue. It's cold in Philadelphia. No, the heat's working, but it's a video component to the podcast, and so I was wearing my winter's cap earlier today, and I got a bad case of hat hair. You guys have seen me show up to games.
Packard has the worst hat hair I've ever seen. I've never seen someone get worse hat hair. Can you show it just briefly?
Well, it's actually not as bad as I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, that's kind of manageable, semi-manageable.
Yeah, but no, it's really bad because I have to show up to court, and in the mornings when I show up to court, I can't wear a hat because you can't look like an idiot with hat hair.
Do you walk to work? How long are you outside on your way to work?
I walk to the train, and then the train.
How many minutes walk is that? I'm trying to judge how weak you are that you can't just go without a hat.
No, what I'm saying is I do go without a hat because I don't want to have the hat hair. But it's like 6 degrees in Philadelphia. Also, I don't work. My office is not at the courthouse, so I have to walk.
You should get the earmuffs that just like go on your ears, and then
I think that would be quite a look. If I show up to court and take off the earmuffs, no one's going to respect me.
No, do they in the first place though?
I think I've tricked enough people into it. They might actually respect me by now. No one is really aware of this whole podcast thing or like anything like that. I do have the Celtics 18th banner hanging in my office, and that anytime someone visits my office, they're a local Philly person, and they tend to get a little
tough for some of the Philadelphians. Does anyone get mad at you? Have you lost business ever because of that?
No, because they don't really believe in the 76ers at all. Like if it was a Patriots banner, they would get upset because they're all Eagles town, but they just like are so lifeless about the Philadelphia 76ers. Like I showed up to Philly wanting to talk a lot of shit, and everyone's just like, no, Embiid sucks. Like he's worthless. And like I had to stick up for like Joel Embiid in many of these conversations. Let's talk about the Sixers.
Philly has the harshest fans of all time.
They do. Hilarious that Prescription P, as they're now calling him, Paul George, suspended for 25 games. Maybe not as hilarious. We don't really know what the substance is. He's claiming for it's part of a mental health issue, but like I thought the Sixers were actually like a pretty solid squad. They were playing a lot better. Embiid looks decent. I thought they could be like a possible first round matchup for the Celtics, but now BRobb, it's just like they lucked into being able to duck the luxury tax because all they have to do is trade Eric Gordon now. It's kind of insane.
Paul George will be healthy for the playoffs too.
That's an absurd rule, by the way.
Yeah, right.
You can just luck out because your player gets suspended. You should be on the hook for the whole contract if your player gets suspended. There should be no benefit of one of your most expensive players getting suspended for 25 games. That's just so dumb.
Did Daryl Morey put something in his Gatorade? Is that a possibility? This is a brilliant way to duck the luxury tax.
It's baffling to me that you can. There's a real upside to having one of your star players suspended for drug use.
Yeah, some might say it's poppycock, but others may not. But we've got a bunch of mailbag questions that we got asked for last week from the kids, the gods, the legends, the fine subscribers of Still Potable. We're going to get to them, but there were 2 basketball games that did occur this weekend. And Jay, pretty easy victories over the Kings and the Bucks. Did we learn anything from them? I mean, I think Luka Garza is kind of a maniac late against the Bucks. That's not really anything new, but like, what's the takeaway from these
worthless teams? 2 absolutely worthless teams. There might be worse teams in the NBA. There are no sorrier teams than the Kings and the Bucks. I
don't know. The Kings got DeAndre Hunter now, Jay. So look out. They're on the upswing. Our favorite guy.
Another outrageous move. Like we did this all last year. Remember last year? Everyone was like, "Oh, Cavaliers might have gotten the missing piece, DeAndre Hunter." It was like, has anyone watched DeAndre Hunter play basketball? Like, not just looked at how many points he averages and how tall he is, but like actually watched him play basketball because he's not that good. And now
he had one game against the Celtics in the playoffs where he like really killed them and made, I think, like 6 threes. And like that
looks like a basketball player. Not much of one, unfortunately, for his teams. And Cavs traded him. Now Dennis Schroeder on the Cavs, former Celtic great.
11th team in 13 seasons. He might match.
Keon Ellis is another guy that everyone on Twitter loves. Everyone on Twitter adores Keon Ellis, thinks he's so good. He's had multiple coaches that none of whom thinks he's worthy of consistent playing time. And everybody on Twitter is like, that guy's amazing. Maybe he's not as amazing as all you people think. Maybe, just maybe.
So he's reportedly interested.
He's fine though. He's fine.
Well, he also gets labeled. Everyone gets labeled
fine too, but he's just fine.
Everyone gets just labeled a 3-and-D wing. Like, are there any wings that are not 3-and-D in the league anymore? Like, if you play a wing, you just get called 3-and-D because it's like that's what the wing position does in the modern day NBA.
I feel like you can't just be 3-and-D anymore. Like, unless you're a really like Sam Hauser, unless you're that type of 3-point shooter, you also have to be able to do other stuff. And Hauser can do other stuff a little bit too, but you have to be able to put it on the floor now. Like, you can't be just Bruce Bowen. Like, that type of 3-and-D guy doesn't exist anymore. The league is just too good for that now. Like, if you're Bruce Bowen or somebody like that, like, you ruin your team by
you just don't get
no matter what
guarded on the other end of the court, and then you're playing 4-on-5. It's the weak link theory. There's no more weak links. You have to be a two-way player. Another term that you hate, Jay, right?
Everybody's a two-way player.
No, Bruce Bowen wasn't. That's the whole point.
It bothers me. I got a lot of grievances tonight, but it bothers me that the NBA named two-way contract guys, named it a two-way contract. Because now when you say the guy's a two-way player and you mean he's on a two-way contract, I feel like I have to specify that he's a player on a two-way contract, not a two-way player. Because there's an actual term that's two-way player, and now it's just confusing because there's a new two-way player term.
Because if you were a two-way player, you wouldn't actually probably be a two-way player. You'd just be on an NBA roster. So it's kind of a paradox.
Or maybe being a two-way player makes you a promising two-way player.
Is Amari Williams?
What would you name it? What would you guys name it?
Amari Williams could be a two-way player that's a two-way player.
Well, now my brain's kind of broken. I don't know what I would name
hybrid
it.
Contract?
Yeah, boom, nailed it. Solved everything.
That was my first. That was right off the top of the dome,
and it really kind of figured out the entire solution.
Done deal.
It seems like we have no takeaways from the Celtics beating the Kings and the Bucks. I mean, it's just 2 games they should win. I think it's a good sign. They've dropped some games earlier.
Today was hilarious though. Down 12-0. Missoula calls early timeout when it was only 9-0, and then just pure domination. At halftime, the Celtics were not shooting as well as the Bucks and dominating the possession battle so badly they were still up 14. There was a point late in the second quarter when the Celtics were up 6 while the Bucks were shooting 53% and the Celtics were shooting like 38%. The Bucks are just so terrible at the possession game that literally I don't think anything else mattered tonight. The Celtics could have shot as poorly as they have all season and probably would have still won this game. The Bucks are just a pathetic basketball team in every single way.
How many games whether Giannis is traded or not, they could, if he doesn't play the rest of the season, like 6-7 more wins for them this year, maybe. Like they're going to be down.
At least they own their pick.
5. Right. They're going to get down there. I actually, one takeaway, Jordan Walsh, that was the first big sign of life for him, I feel like, in a few weeks, of just like the rebounding everywhere, making some nice passes too.
That lefty finish he had was sweet.
Yeah. That was just like December Jordan Walsh when he got into the starting lineup. So that was good to see for him since he's been playing, but hasn't had a game like that in a while.
He was a two-way player today.
Two-way.
Should be the name of the episode, 2-way players. Grant, G Money, just said I look 10 years younger because I shaved my face, and I was about to ask one of his questions from the mailbag. Simons has moved to the 3rd best odds for 6th man of the year. Is this a successful season in your eyes for Anthony Simons, BRobb?
Without a doubt. This is, as not maybe the best case scenario, but as far as integrating into a team in a new role, finding his rhythm, I think, pretty quickly after a few weeks there. And defensively, that's where all the question marks were. And he's been not amazing, but he's like been respectable in that department, I feel like, since for the last couple months at least. And has been obviously a positive plus minus player in a big way on the court, like the rest of the bench when he's in there. So yeah, this is when the Celtics decided, hey, we want to hold on to this guy when the season started and see what he can do for us as opposed to salary dump him. Like, this was what they were hoping for. I'm not sure you can ask for much more than this if you're Joe or Brad right now, in terms of what he's given you.
Yeah, and I mean, obviously, he's been a big part of their offense, which has been absolutely elite. He's just totally committed to what Joe Mazzulla wants, which is just trying on defense, getting better at that side of the ball, and also just being a part of things on offense. To me, it's the mentality that he's played with that has made it a success. Like, he easily could have come into Boston in the contract year and said, I was the number 1 option. I don't really want to come off the bench, and maybe not made a stink, but not embraced it. And instead, he's just totally embraced it. He's done whatever to impact winning. He's tried to do whatever Joe's wanted him to do. And he seemed to just enjoy it all. You know, like, he didn't feel like he was too big for any of this. He was excited to join a winner, and he's carried himself like that. So, yeah, the Anthony Simons experience has been a very positive one for the Celtics.
I also enjoy the fact that he hasn't started a game yet, despite the fact that pretty much everyone else on the team has.
He's the new Peyton Pritchard.
The new Peyton Pritchard.
Who's really just the new Malcolm Brogdon. Apparently, this is just a thing that the Boston Celtics do, trying to run up the score on 6th man of the year trophies. I feel like the Celtics are probably still looking for a deal for him, but I think if they don't find something by the deadline on Thursday, BRobb, like, I have such trouble trying to figure out what the market is going to be for free agents, but like, is a possibility they bring him back on a deal, or has he been so well that he's probably going to be out of the price range of the Boston Celtics in the offseason?
I assume he's going to be out of the price range. just for the fact that I think the money the Celtics are going to be spending this offseason, if they don't get a big now with his, I think that's where most of the money will be going towards. But you never say never with this. So I'd be surprised, like if this team goes on a crazy playoff run, then yeah, they things can change on that front. But for now, this is just him, I think, helping the Celtics now. Simon's, I think, helping himself on the market. And so he's certainly building much more of a market for himself this summer than he had this past offseason. And the question is, how's that going to look like in the playoffs if he's actually, I think that's going to be the true test here, Jay, of like, we haven't seen him you've seen him in playoff games before, but that'll be put to the test here if he ends up staying here.
Yeah, it's a totally different game and so much more physical. People get up in him, and he's not used to that. So yeah, it would be a big test for him honestly, if Jason Tatum comes back and Simons is still on the team, how much would he be playing in the playoffs? I don't know.
He has like the chance to come in and like swing a game, but it's like you get a 6-minute stint in the second quarter, and if you're not great, you're not coming back in the second half. But he has also like the talent and the scoring ability to be like 6-minute run in the second quarter, and he's
incredible. It seems like anytime he makes like one or two, it's just like his eyes light up. He starts going to that step back to the left, creating so much separation. I don't know how far he steps back on that, but it's an insane distance. And you just think everything. Tonight was a great example of that. He just caught fire, and then it's so smooth when he is hot. Like, he's such a gifted shot maker.
Better version of 2010 Nate Robinson role for the playoffs.
Ooh, I wasn't prepared for the Nate Robinson.
That's deep.
Either was I. Who's going to play the Shaq role? Who's going to start Game 7? Oh no, Rashid started Game 7.
No, Rashid, come on, yeah.
That's my bad.
Go 2011 here.
That's my bad. All right, Matt Decker asks, assume that Ugo is untouchable in a trade, which is a wild assumption. I think
that'd be a stunner if he got traded. That'd be an absolute.
I'd be stunned,
stunner.
but I think he's touchable. That's all I'm saying. Who among the remaining young wings has the most trade value at this point? Jay King.
Good question.
I'll go Jordan Walsh. I mean, he started a bunch of games.
I don't know. Baylor Shireman is supposed to be a defensive.
Does Sam Hauser count?
How young is he?
That's what I'm asking. So Sam Hauser doesn't count.
Yeah, Hauser's a different category.
I'll stick with Jordan Walsh. I just think his upside as a defensive playmaker. Like, Shireman's been great on defense, and he just always seems to know the game plan, like super solid at everything. But Jordan Walsh has like the potential to one day just totally screw things up for an opponent. And I think that's pretty big. You want guys like that.
My bigger question.
He's also way younger than Baylor Shireman.
Very true. Has Shireman surpassed Minot?
Clearly he has. I still believe in Minot, but like in Joe's eyes, Minot's dead.
Minot's going to have to revive himself. I don't know what it will take, but
how does he do it if he only gets in the final 4 minutes of fourth quarter blowouts? Like, how is he going to?
You do it behind the scenes, man. You do it with the way you work. You do it by just showing them how consistent you can be. Because that's all it is for Minot. Like, he can obviously make plays. He blocks shots. He gets deflections. He can do a lot. It's just, can you know the game plan every time? Can you not just do something stupid that will cost your team a possession? Can you just avoid those mental errors? And that's where he needs to grow. And then his talent level will carry him. But right now, yeah, Shireman has surpassed him, obviously, in Joe's eyes.
Do you think in the eyes of the league, or is Minot still young enough? Like, because Shireman's so old, I feel like Minot probably has higher trade value despite being lower on the Joe Mazzulla totem pole.
Well, I bet that'd be split decisions if you pulled a bunch of GMs around the league.
Yeah.
Between those two, but certainly a lot more going for Baylor now than a month and a half ago.
What Minot needs to do is he needs to show up to practice and start like running suicides on his own and play his own gunshot noises and like try and like impress Joe Mazzulla that way. A bunch of the Celtics were on the old man and the 3-pod and they were telling the story of that. And I didn't realize they were playing full court 1-on-1 during the gunshot noises drill. Like just 10 minutes of just full court 1-on-1 where it's like, no, you just can't. And Anthony Simon said something like, you just can't like play like nonsense defense. Like he expected you to be going for steals the entire time. That must be the most exhausting thing in the world. And then he made the coaches run because they messed up a drill. I know this is nothing new from Joe Mazzulla, but he's just like, I love a good Mazzulla the Maniac story. And full court 1-on-1 is wild to me.
He's one of the guys, like the stories about him are just classic. Like there are just guys like that. Like Kevin Garnett stories were all classic. Like you could ask people for their own Kevin Garnett story and they'd all have a different one. I feel like Joe's kind of reached that where it's like, if you could get the Celtics to tell you all this stuff that he does, I'm sure you would just get gem after gem after gem stories.
Also, everything at this point is believable. Like he's entered the Mike Tyson zone of just like any story I hear about Joe Mazzulla, I will believe no matter how ridiculous.
He literally almost threw Sam Cassell to the ground the other day because Sam was trying to stop him from going at a ref.
Well, also Derek White says on his birthday during the summer, he just calls him up and goes, Derek, everyone thinks we're going to suck and I love it. Ha, 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 ha. Happy birthday. And then like hangs up. Like, what? That's just the phone call of a crazy person. And I like genuinely believe every single story I hear about Joe Mazzulla. It's fantastic. All right. Before we get to some other questions, I do want to remind you guys that today's episode is brought to you by Prize Picks. Basketball season is heating up, and Prize Picks is the best place to get real money action while watching your favorite sports. You can win up to 1,000 times your money on Prize Picks. Prize Picks now offers MasterCard for quick and easy deposits into your account this sports season. All you have to do is pick more or less on at least 2 players, different statistical categories, and you can again win up to 1,000 times your cash. Prize Picks has a bunch of different categories, but also you can go across sports. The C's and the Pats will be playing next Sunday. Maybe you can do a little Drake May, Jaylen Brown connection. There's many different ways to win with Prize Picks. And so get in on the action today. Download the app. Use promo code CLNS to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Again, download that app today. Use code CLNS to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, run your game. Now, let's get back to the old mailbag here. I had a good question picked out. Oh, this is a random one from Robbie, but I was curious about it. We've been talking about Anthony Simons. Throw the contracts out. Would you trade right now Anthony Simons for Trae Young, BRobb?
Would I trade Anthony Simons for Trae Young?
Just talent for
in the
talent.
Middle of town for talent right now in the middle of the season? No, not in the like if it was the offseason, yes. Right now, for this team, no.
That's kind of wild to me. It's Trae Young. He's much better at scoring the basketball than Anthony Simons is. I guess he's worse defensively. Okay, now
he's a lot worse defensively than Simons. And just what he does, the ball dominance of like, do you want the ball in his hands more, like over like Pritchard and Derek White on this team or Jaylen? Like my answer is no. If straight up, if it was just starting a team from scratch, yeah, Trae Young, obviously.
The argument is not about basketball here. If it was, it'd be Trae Young.
Exactly.
The argument is that Trae Young would not want to do what Anthony Simons does, which is come off the bench and play a role and just play defense. And Trae Young would want to start and would want the ball, and his usage rate would be sky high, and it would take away from the other stuff that you do.
All right, that's a fair point, a fair argument. T Money asks, what's your favorite city to eat in when you were covering a team on the road? Or do you guys, either of you, have a favorite road restaurant?
Ooh, That's a good question. The first one that came to mind is a place called Two Urban Licks in Atlanta, which is a barbecue spot in Atlanta. That's a good spot.
What's the late night spot we'd go to in Milwaukee, Jay?
Barrio. Barrio is like a taco spot.
Yes.
That's open late in Milwaukee. We can go to after games. I appreciate Barrio. Forsberg, like
Forsberg, Gloves Bar. You know, oh, no,
gotta
Cleveland.
be
It's
the
in Cleveland,
biggest
not
Barrio fan
Milwaukee.
on earth. Yeah, Cleveland. What other spots are there? I'm trying to think of some good ones.
The problem is that you guys are like, you got to have a late place that's open late.
Yeah,
because you're
right. Anything that's open past 1 to 2 o'clock and serves food is like immediately skyrockets up the list for me. Yeah, I'm trying to think. I'm going to look this up as we're talking here, but there's one of those places in Milwaukee too. Barrio is one of those places for sure.
Himmelsbach is a real foodie, so he researches all the spots and finds us good spots.
He's not just a foodie; he's a Boston Globe food critic.
Noted food critic.
Yeah.
Well, while you guys think of that, another question from Christopher Pellegrini: if healthy, who wins in a 7-game series, the 2024 Boston Celtics or the 2025 Oklahoma City Thunder?
We've got a new addition to add to this because Evan Turner just tweeted that the 2024 Celtics would beat this year's Eastern Conference All-Stars. So we'll throw them into the mix too. Let's make this
just the starters or the full roster of the newly announced reserves as well.
Full roster.
Because I feel like the Eastern Conference All-Stars have a real depth advantage there.
Who needs depth? It's
depth basically got the Pacers to the finals and almost won them the finals. Depth is everything now. I'm taking the Eastern Conference All-Stars this year. Just based on depth alone and sheer talent. Because, like, it's just poppycock that they, like, the people they have coming off the bench of Donovan Mitchell, Pascal Siakam. Oh, now that I'm reading these names, it's less exciting. Jalen Johnson, Norm Powell, Scotty Barnes. All right, okay. I still think that team wins based on depth alone, but I don't know.
The starters are Towns.
Towns is not a starter. He's a backup.
I just looked up
starters are Maxey,
25 by accident.
East starters are Maxey, Brunson, Cade, Jalen. Would like to see Jalen versus Jalen. That'd be an interesting matchup. And Giannis.
I think that I'm just dumbfounded now.
I mean, White and Holiday were like versus Maxey and Brunson.
That'd be
have
fun.
A pretty big defensive edge there.
Do we think Derek White should have made the All-Star team?
If he could hit a shot in the last month, yeah. But
like, who impacted their team more, Derek White or Norman Powell?
That's fair. Norman Powell felt like a pity vote that Derek White probably deserved more from the coaches.
But no one ever makes it just from like having a lot of guard blocks alone. Like just like it would have to be. It's a strictly like advanced numbers and defensive selection.
It's a strictly this guy helps you win more than this other guy, which is sort of how basketball works.
Well, then why did LeBron make the All-Star team?
Because this was a Lifetime Achievement Award.
They have those.
All the people mad about it are so wrong. I'm not going to say
White deserved a Lifetime Achievement Award.
I've gotten mad about stuff like that before, and this was not just. Like, for this season alone, there was nothing just about LeBron James being named an All-Star. However, this is an All-Star game. It's a showcase of what makes the game great. And they were never not going to have LeBron there.
Make him a commissioner's pick like they did for Mike Conley and Dwayne Wade. Kawhi Leonard's averaging 29 points a game.
The thing is, was Dirk a commissioner's pick, right?
I feel like they've had a bunch of commissioner's picks of old time.
Most of those guys are in their last years, though. Like they've said, I'm going to retire at the end of this season, and then they get in.
So make LeBron retire.
Hasn't said that yet. LeBron hasn't said that, so he's just going to get added on till his final days in the league.
All right, but let's answer the original question. Last year's Thunder against 2 years ago Celtics.
I'm taking the Celtics.
I mean, how much different
would have
does
been
this?
a hell of a series.
I mean, how serious? I mean,
You're kind of
Thunder almost
robbed
lost last year to the Pacers.
Yeah, I think the Celtics were just more complete. They had like their level of shooting was just so much different than OKC's. And I mean 3-point shooting alone. And OKC's defense was like just ridiculous, the amount of turnovers they could force. But it's really hard to force. It was really hard to force that team into turnovers. And the way the Celtics played that whole year, not just during the regular season, but also during the playoffs, like they were just a level above everybody. And you guys are right. Like the Thunder, they weren't a level above everybody. They almost got knocked off by the Nuggets. They almost got knocked off by the Pacers. Who knows if Tyrese Halliburton stays healthy? Whereas the Celtics just kicked the shit out of everybody. The Pacers series was probably their closest series, and it was a sweep.
I'm trying to remember if everyone was healthy during the 2025 season, but I felt like the Thunder beat the Celtics that year pretty handily, but I might have been in a stretch where Kristaps was hurt. But I remember that game in Oklahoma City where
they destroyed them in the second half of that game.
Yeah, and like the Celtics couldn't do anything in the fourth quarter, just like couldn't score whatsoever. And so it's not a 1-for-1 comparison just because the health of the Celtics was obviously different in 2025. But like of the teams that have played the Celtics tough over the last 2 years, it's been the Thunder and the Nuggets have been like the toughest challenges for the Celtics. And so I think it would have been a very fascinating series. We kind of never got that opportunity.
Would have been awesome. Maybe we will. Maybe the hope isn't done. But it would be a very different Celtics team than the 2024 one.
Yes. Our greatest Hawaiian subscriber, Kainoa, asks, who is the last player you thought wouldn't amount to much in the league and ended up surprising you, J. King? Who's someone you initially thought wasn't shit and then they turned into being shit?
There's so many. Like so many. Let me check out the All-Stars and
Siakam.
Oh, Siakam for sure.
Siakam
after his series against the Celtics, I thought he was just the most useless player of all time, like total garbage. And the series he played against the Celtics was just so stunning that it took me years to remember again how good he is at basketball. Like that's how bad he was during that 7-game series against Boston. Who else is up there? I mean, there's a long list of guys that I just never thought would amount. Jalen Duren is another great example. Remember?
Oh yeah, you're a big Duren
I was
hater.
shitting on Jalen Duren on the podcast, and it's not even 5 months later, and he's in the All-Star game. So I'll take that L. Took that L pretty quickly. Yeah, Jalen Duren is probably the most recent one where I just like totally overlooked him coming into the season, and then he was like, "Fuck you! I'm a badass, and I kick everyone's ass, and I'm that dude." So shout out to him. I can now admit he's a badass, and I love watching him play.
I have one the other way. Oh, Luka Garza's one now. The guy on the Raptors, Agbaji, I always thought I thought he was going to be a great player in this league, and he just never has turned into anything. But like he has had like 3 good games against the Celtics, and I was like, that guy, he's a 3-and-D wing. He's got a 2-way player.
Speaking of 3 good games against the Celtics, I totally loved that Peyton Pritchard was like, I just hated guarding Ish Smith.
Yes.
That was awesome. I think that was on the Old Man in the 3 podcast. And Pritchard was like, yeah, Ish Smith he couldn't shoot, and he would just come at you and just run at you and beat you off the dribble. And Ish Smith used to kill the Celtics. Like every time they played him, it seemed like Ish Smith would just go off. So I'm glad that Peyton Pritchard noticed that Ish Smith was a Celtics killer. That was fun.
Well, Anthony Simons was complaining about him too. Ish Smith was just a bucket.
Ish Smith was the fastest man alive.
When you got it going, no real way to slow him down.
Literally.
All right. Kainoa also asks, the Celtics did a thing where they asked players what's one rule they would change about the game of basketball. And he's asking you guys, what's one aspect of your job you would change to make it easier to be a beat reporter / podcaster? First, I got to say, it's pretty easy to be a podcaster. So I don't know if there's like a lot that would change there. So I'm going to focus on you guys as beat reporters.
Just make, I would say, like the media availability back like 10, 15, 20 years ago, like in the old days where it was much more free flowing. You get to watch practices or some of practice. You could strike up more opportunities to have casual conversations with guys. That has kind of gone. It's around sometimes, but it's gone in the very much the other direction the last 5 to 10 years, and that certainly
post-COVID, it's really changed everything. Like,
it really is. That was a turning point.
They used to let knuckleheads like me walk into the locker room and ask Giannis about pancakes and waffles and stuff, and they just don't. I could never do that these days.
Well, there's probably a benefit to that.
I don't know. I found out he loves waffles.
Guy loves waffles. What would I? Yeah, I wish I would go back even further. I would go back to like the Bob Ryan days.
Yeah, just getting beers with Larry Bird.
Coach.
Yeah, when you were like flying with guys and just were able to like really sit down with guys and talk to them, and like for as many interviews as we do, it's not very often, especially with the top players, that you get a one-on-one interview with them. And there are so many things I would love to pick guys' brains about that you just can't get to over the course of a year. And when you do get those one-on-one interviews, you kind of have to be selective about how you use them and what you're asking about. So if we had better access, and I don't think that's really too possible now in the landscape with how many people cover the teams and how just different things are than they were when Bob Ryan was covering the Celtics. But that would be, if you could do that, I think the quality of stories and storytelling and everything would just go so far up.
I'm going back even farther. 1978 Blazers, embed with the team and be able to write a full book about it. Like that is like Breaks of the Game is one of the most fascinating looks of like really all the behind the scenes stuff that goes on with the basketball team. And I think, would you guys just like give up a whole season if it meant you could just like be a part of the team and just like write a book afterwards? Like if you just
definitely.
That would be like one of the coolest things. And I just think it's never going to happen. You'd have to have it embargoed for like 5 years because it's like everything would be turned into a scandal if you were able to like reveal coaches' like true feelings about players or the real things that went on. But I think that level of access, I've always wanted, if Nick Freeman ever becomes a head coach anywhere, I'm going to become his assistant, not an assistant coach, but like his personal assistant. And my only pay is that I get to write a book about it 5 to 10 years later. And so I need him to get promoted to a head coach position somewhere. Check it. Speaking of Nick Freeman, I haven't checked in on the Deeks at all. Does anyone know how the Deeks are doing?
We were probably better than BC in the ACC, I would hope.
We were a big Deeks podcast starting off the year, but I think I've kind of fallen off. And I think if they were doing better, I would probably know about it. They are 18th in the ACC.
Yeah, maybe not. They're actually, that's tough.
Oh, they are dead last. They are at 11-11 this year. That is
4-team tie for last in the ACC.
Man, I got to check in on my buddy Rick. That's on me. Hand up. Sorry I brought it up. Thanks. Final question.
Oh, we got a couple more here. Let's do a speed round for some people.
All right.
Here.
Super Bowl predictions and Gatorade color, all that jazz and all that nonsense. Jay, I'm going to give you the floor to bloviate about Drake May and how the Seahawks are a trash franchise.
Gatorade color?
You know, that's the thing people bet on and what color the Gatorade's going to be.
Oh, it's going to be fierce grape or whatever they call it.
No, it's gonna be yellow.
No, fierce grape. I bet you can get good odds on that too.
How do you know the grape's fierce? How do you know it's not normal grape or Riptide Rush?
It's gonna be the fierce grape.
What's your favorite? What's your favorite Gatorade flavor?
I'm a yellow type of guy.
Probably take orange.
Blue all the way. Any shade of blue. Give me a blue.
No, definitely yellow. Gotta be yellow. So my Starburst takes are the takes that people really think are wrong, but really other people are wrong.
Let's hear them.
Yellow and orange are by far the best Starburst flavors.
I actually think I agree with you on that one. What are the other ones? Pink? Pink's not good.
Strawberry, I feel like, is the consensus.
Oh, no.
Favorite,
Strawberry
generally.
stinks.
You think
No,
strawberry?
Jay, you're absolutely right. It doesn't stink. They're all candy.
Pink and red get so much love, and I'm just like,
No.
They're fine.
All
Yellow
right.
and orange are where it's really at.
I thought I was going to give you a chance to talk about the Patriots in the Super Bowl, but you just
No,
really
no,
wanted to
no.
lock in on
So-
Starburst.
What a tangent.
Unlike many of these other franchises, I have respect for the Seahawks. They're a great football team. What they've done statistically, like they've been the best team in the league all year. They are a complete team. They got obviously Jackson Smith and the Jigba. They've got their defense has been just unreal all year. They have Rashid Shaheed. They just picked him up. He's a special teams killer. They're fantastic. There is no way they beat the Patriots. No way.
They're favored by 5 points.
Yeah, and it's dumb. It's dumb. People have seen this before. We've seen this before. We've seen the beginning of a Patriots dynasty before, and it went just like this. It went just like this. Patriots aren't expected to be much. Oh, they start winning. Nobody believes them. Even so, they keep winning. The other team in the Super Bowl, everyone's hyping them up. They've been the best team all year. Seahawks are going to do it. NFC is way better. Patriots take care of the details. Patriots win no matter what the weather is. Drake May, the guy couldn't play in a hurricane. That's his only flaw. He couldn't play in a hurricane, in a snowstorm, in an avalanche. Drake May is going to dice these motherfuckers up. And Patriots by
3 points.
I'm going to give the Seahawks a lot of respect here. Patriots by 13.
I'm taking the Patriots by 3 on a lot. If we're really going to do this as a new Patriots dynasty, they win on a game-winning field goal by, I don't even know their kicker's name.
Borgalis. Yeah.
I only started watching the Patriots in the playoffs, if I'm going to be honest. BRobb, do you have a strong Super Bowl prediction?
Oh yeah, I like him in a squeaker. Bring back the 2-minute drill. Drake May starts on the 20, tie game. Minute and a half left. Recreate the 2001 magic.
That'd be fun. Jack Nimble asks, does the cop that sits behind the Celtics bench actually get paid? How do you get that job if so?
Jack Nimble?
That's the name.
Jack B. Nimble?
No B, but is
Does
friend
Jack
Jack
get
B.
quick
Quick.
too?
Yeah. That cop does get paid. It's called detailing.
It's paid pretty well.
Yeah, it's something called police overtime. I highly suggest for whatever municipality you live in, you research police overtime, and you'll see the many dollar figures spent on similar details. You ever seen a cop just kind of hanging out by a construction site and just doing traffic? They're getting detailed and getting overtime. So yeah, it's a great job. I don't know how you get it. You probably have to be in the police force for many years. Although I have seen a bunch of not police officers necessarily, but like security at TD Garden events. You don't really get to watch the game because you kind of have to watch the drunken idiots in the crowd. I don't know if working at that would be the best job. Like my brother used to work at Fenway Park. he worked for the Rawlings station where it would engrave bats for people, and he's like a huge Red Sox fan. But he was like, the job wasn't fun because I was just like stuck below the grandstand the entire time, and like you didn't get to. I don't think you get to do as much just watching as you want because you like, have to protect the players. The real job that I want is like one of those people who does like the official scoring that just sits at half court and you just get a half like on front court seats to every single Celtics game. That's the fun job, and you get to inflate your home team's assist totals.
Those guys are impressive though. The score, like how quickly they notch everything. It's really impressive. I might have to write a story on that, honestly, because they do everything so quickly and efficiently and hardly ever make mistakes. Like it's really an efficient operation they got going on. Not just the Celtics, but everybody.
They must have a spotter over there to tell people how quick it goes. But that is fascinating how well they do it.
All right, we got 2 Joshua B questions. We'll round it out here. He's just trying to figure out what the repeater tax is and how do they avoid it and what are the penalties? What's basically the tax implications? And his other question is like, assuming they don't do anything at the deadline and they lose Simons, they lose Tillman, they lose Boucher, like what is their financial situation headed into the offseason? So BRobb, you're the resident capologist on Still Potable. Tell us what's going on with this.
Yeah, so they're in their repeater tax until they get out of it for at least the next 2.
They have to do 2 consecutive years below the tax, right?
Right, to start to reset it, or 3 or 4. So they can start, this process this year. And so if they want to do that now, that would involve say goodbye to Simons or Hauser, or potentially both this week.
Is it even worth it? Like if they're just getting below the tax for the first year and then Tatum comes back, like you're going to want them to spend money and go above the tax.
Well, that's right. Exactly. If you're going to go back over it anyway, then it's being like, are you willing to invest in this team or not? Like this year, are you willing to spend an extra $40 million or is it? So
I don't think it's just about this year. I really think like you look at the start of this season, the Celtics had to make so many cuts because their roster would have been $500 million. $500 million if they kept everybody. And obviously they weren't going to do that after Tatum got injured. But when you look at the next great Celtics team, whenever that comes, you want to be out of the repeater tax. And it would mean a lot to be out of the repeater tax so that you can have a couple years where you can load up and say, F it, let's just go for it and be way over the salary cap and over the luxury tax and not have to pay $500 million.
I know, but don't you want to load up next year, hypothetically? Because if you have to get out of it for multiple seasons, then are you like hamstringing yourself for the 26-27 season because you need to do it again to get out of the repeater tax?
I think there would be ways that you could probably stay out of the luxury tax next year. Like let's say you trade Simons and you get,
Day'Ron Sharp, let's say.
Day'Ron Sharp. What's he making? $6 million?
Yes.
So you add $6 million to next year because Simons has nothing. Then you're still under the luxury tax by you're starting next year. But you have a little wiggle room under the tax to go out and add somebody. Plus, you won't need to add that much. Realistically, if you get another big man now, like you have a group of wings, you're bringing back Jason Tatum, you're confident in Neemias Queta, you're confident in Luka Garza, at least during the regular season. And so if you add another quality big, like you're pretty happy with the front court. Peyton Pritchard's under contract, Derek White's under contract, Jaylen Brown's under contract. Like you really wouldn't need to do much over the offseason if you do get under and at a big. And then that means you could stay under for 2 straight years while also having a really good team next season and not like getting punished for it with the repeater tax. So I think it's possible to do both and then reap the benefits down the road when you can get really aggressive going after whatever type of player and adding another star to the mix and whatever.
Say they don't trade Simons this year and then they just let Simons walk. They're still going to be over the cap. Do they have exceptions at that point? Like, is their best opportunity to add that big trading Simons in the next 4 days?
Well, you still have this Porzingis TP, which will expire at the beginning of the offseason, but you could use that in a sign and trade. You could bring someone in with that at the start of free agency in the summer. So you would necessarily lose Simon's, salary slot entirely if he walks away.
And how big is that trade exception?
I think it's like $22 million.
Okay.
You could get a pretty good player, but yeah, ideally to Jay's point, like you thread the needle, and it's like okay, you get under tax while you're getting your center of the future because you can use Simons, make a guy who's making $15-20 million at center. We've talked about a lot of those guys, and then you do whatever legwork you need to get under the tax with that, while still putting your best foot forward, competing for the next year, and then reap the benefits down the line. So they're probably looking under every rock. There's probably 5-6 different machinations of if they can do it, if what type of deal is there, how much draft capital is it going to take to do it, and is that all worth, and moving ahead of time with it, or is it better off figuring that out in the offseason?
And I am not advocating for a straight salary dump at all. But I think if you can somehow shed salary while picking up a good piece and getting under the tax and then stay there next year when you won't really have many roster needs, it's something you at least have to consider. It's not something that I would just throw out as a possibility at all. That would actually that would be my aim. That would be what I would be trying to do. And if you can't accomplish that, then you do something else. But I would be trying to, kill two birds with one stone type of move.
Yeah, two birds stoned at once. Yeah.
We might have to do a part 3 of the mailbag because I think there's still a couple questions here.
Is that a reference to something?
It's Trailer Park Boys. It's a real Rickyism, if anyone knows the program. But I thought you were just going to let it slide, which made me laugh.
What's a Rickyism? I would have let it slide, but you had this stupid smirk on your face that forced me to ask.
He has a bunch of dumb sayings, like he messes up sayings like that, like he says denial and error. It's a good stuff. It's a good show out of Canada.
Sounds terrible, honestly.
Trailer Park Boys. You guys should watch it. It's good stuff. Yeah, we'll have to come back and answer more mailbag questions later this week, but we got to go. We appreciate everyone tuning in. If you enjoy the program, if you want recaps of both the Celtics game in Dallas and in Houston, if you watch this podcast every single day of the week, go to patreon.com/stillpotable. If you enjoy the free pods, we'll appreciate you listening as well. Subscribe today to our YouTube channel. Follow us on the X. We appreciate you guys tuning in. We'll be back tomorrow with more Still Potable.
Still potable, still potable. Still potable, still potable.